Stephen Hawking. However difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Stephen Hawking didn't just speak those words, he lived them in a way that redefined what the human spirit is capable of. His life is the ultimate testament to the idea that the mind has no limits, even when the body is confined. The diagnosis that wasn't a dead end. In 1963, at the age of 21, Hawking was a bright but somewhat unmotivated student at Cambridge. Then he began stumbling. His speech slurred. Doctors diagnosed him with ALS and gave him a grim prognosis. He had roughly 2 years to live. Most people would have succumbed to despair. For a while, Hawking did. But as he realized he wasn't dying as fast as predicted, he found a sudden, sharp focus. He famously said that the prospect of dying early made him realize that life was worth living and that there were lots of things he wanted to do. Success under the shadow. Hawking's physical world began to shrink rapidly. He lost the ability to walk, then the ability to write, and eventually the ability to speak. Yet, as his physical world contracted, his intellectual world expanded to the very edges of the universe. The black hole breakthrough. While he was losing the use of his limbs, he was mentally calculating the properties of black holes. He proved that they weren't bottomless pits, but actually emitted radiation, now known as Hawking radiation. A new voice. In 1985, a bout of pneumonia necessitated a tracheotomy, removing his voice entirely. Rather than giving up, he adopted a computerized speech synthesizer. He used a single cheek muscle to select words on a screen, painstakingly crafting sentences at a rate of just 1 or 2 words per minute. Global impact. In that slow voice, he wrote A Brief History of Time. It became one of the best-selling books in history, making complex physics accessible to millions of people who had never picked up a science book. The lesson: fortune favors the brave. Hawking's sincerity was his refusal to let his disability define his identity. He lived for 55 years beyond his initial diagnosis, becoming the most famous scientist since Einstein. He didn't succeed despite his hardships. He succeeded because he chose to focus entirely on what he could do, think, imagine, and communicate, rather than mourning what he couldn't. He proved that even if you are confined to a wheelchair, you can still traverse the stars. My expectations were reduced to 0 when I was 21. Everything since then has been a bonus. Stephen Hawking.